Hello, happy fall, y'all. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, we are coming up on the end of fall, and I still have all the Halloween decorations up, and I'm very much still in the mindset of thinking about scary stories. This is something I think a lot about, actually, because one of my big pet peeves is how the media, people who want to get your attention on social media, how they deliberately tell you scary stories to hook your attention and then get you to do what they would like you to do. That really pisses me off because I feel like that is abusive. If you're gonna tap into someone's fear, like a fear story they're already telling themselves, you had better be showing up with a solution, or I'm gonna be suspicious of your reasons for doing that. And then we also just have people who are very much entrenched in their own fear stories, and that's all they can think about, that's all they can talk about, that's all they can post about. And so they are inadvertently, not on purpose, spreading that shit around. And so what you get is a lot of scared people scaring other people with their scary stories. And this is really problematic if you're a person who has a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear around making ends meet, making your way in the world, just being here on the planet. If you're already scared, if you already have a lot of scary stories going on, being awash in these stories is not helping matters. I'm not talking about big global issues here. I'm not addressing any of that. I am talking about our own personal lives and the stories that we tell ourselves about why people don't like us, why we can't have what we want, why we can't make a living doing what we feel like we were born to do, why we can never show our face in that place again. Stories like that. That is specifically what I'm talking about. And what happens if you're a person who tells those kinds of stories to yourself is you get stuck up in your head in rumination. So rumination is like telling a scary story to yourself over and over and over again. It could be a story from the past, something horrible or humiliating that happened, or it could be a projection, like a story of the future and something that you're anticipating going wrong, something that you're worried about maybe. And I'm a person who believes that your point of power is now, right here. This is your point of power. You cannot act in the past. You cannot act in the future. Right now is all you've got. This is what you've got to work with. So something that works for me, if I am ruminating on a story that is keeping me stuck because it's activating that fight, flight, or freeze mode. I'm a freezer. I don't know about you, but I tend to freeze when I'm afraid, which means I just kind of go blank and I do nothing. I just like freeze like a deer in the headlights. You're probably familiar with all three, but you might have like a go-to fear response. And the stories that you tell in your head can activate that if you're doing it on repeat to such a degree that it literally keeps you stuck. So what I like to do is take the story out of my head and bring it down into the present moment through physical movement and action. And one way I do that is I just notice I am telling a story. I'm replaying what happened in my head over and over again, or I'm perseverating on this fear, this worry about the future, and I'm playing it out over and over again. The moment I catch myself doing that, I stop it. Physically, I go, no, like I'll do something physical like that, wipe it off my hands, wipe it off my person, get it out of my body, and then I start focusing on the real story, which is what I am living right now, the story of my life. And I start thinking about myself as the protagonist of my life story and thinking if I were the hero of my life story, if people were watching the movie of my life story, what would I do in this moment? How would me as the protagonist of this story behave? What would I do next? What would the next right step be? What is the most obvious thing that I could be doing right now to move toward what I want instead of ruminating on what I don't want? How can I get into action? And if I don't know what the next right step is, I will often write because I really do believe in the power of movement and getting physical, and moving from your head to your heart really is about, for me, moving from my head to my hands, with your hands being an extension of your heart. You might be a runner, so if you don't know what to do, or if you have a lot of stuck energy and you notice yourself ruminating or being stuck up in your head in a story on a loop, notice it, stop, do something physical and be like, enough, no, enough, stop. Stop telling the story and then do something physical to put you into the actual reality of the story that you are living in the flesh right now. So I bust out a notebook or a pad of paper and I just let that energy go. I might do some scripting where I start writing what I would like to happen. I might take the story that was up in my head and I might rewrite it in a way that I find it encouraging, motivating, in a way that gives me hope. Sometimes I will pray, ask for higher guidance, and then I'll just sit there asking questions. What is the next right step? What is the best thing to do right now? If I were living in a movie right now, what choice would I make as the hero? Sometimes it's just, I would make that phone call. Or sometimes it's, I would clean this place up. It's looking like a dump. Sometimes it's very, very simple. But then what you need to do is take the action. Like, get into the action of your life story. It's real. It's happening right now. Instead of watching other people live their lives on the internet, instead of playing scary stories up in your head about all the things that could go wrong or have gone wrong, you have the chance to actually live this amazing story in the flesh right now. It's an awesome opportunity, and it's a bit of a trick to stay engaged that way, which is why I like and use a story metaphor, because it keeps me going. Your imagination is so powerful. If you have a hard time envisioning yourself as the protagonist of your own life, think of your favorite character in a movie or a TV show or a book. The one that you wish that you were like, the one that gets shit done, the one that has a lot of courage, the one that is not afraid to face difficult obstacles or choices. Get that person in mind and use them as a kind of avatar, and ask yourself, one for me is Tess McGill from Working Girl. So I can say, what would Tess do right now? And I immediately know. I've seen that movie so many times. I love her so much. I used to have a car named Tess. Like, I love this character. So anytime I think, what would Tess do? I know exactly what to do. She's like a spirit guide from the land of movies. And so if you're having a hard time envisioning yourself as the protagonist of your own life, try using a protagonist from one of your favorite stories and see how that works for you. And the great news is, once you find a character that works like that for you, you can play that character over and over and over again, and you develop a kind of intimacy with it and a trust, and it becomes like a role that you play to get you through the hardest parts of your day. And I think that's fun. I think we're allowed to play. We're allowed to enjoy our lives, and for sure, we're meant to live them. So this is a way to do both. Let me know if you like this tip. Let me know if you have any related ideas or questions down in the comments section. And until we meet again, much love to you. Peace.